Oculus Rift, OpenGL, Linux, and more. This is WSGF News. I'm Simon, also known as the Destroyer.
I'm Chris, Peanut.
And this is WSGF News.
All right, episode 3, guys. You made it this far.
We almost didn't make. Well, we didn't make it last week,
Yeah.
so I guess we gotta apologize. Some stuff came up with you, and I had something recorded, and someone now has it at their house because it's gone.
Stolen.
Stolen. My drive was acquired, annexed by someone else. So
that's a bummer, man.
It happens.
I feel bad for you.
It was a little cheap thing, but whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do weekly shows, guys. From time to time, some things might come up, so you will see maybe a week delay. We're going to try to shoot every Friday and then release by the latest by Mondays. No promises on any of this, but that's our tentative time schedule. We want to get these informative news videos to you guys as soon as possible. And with anything like news, like we've missed a lot, right?
Yeah, this week. Definitely. Especially with the Game Developer Conference was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so definitely. And the big news, our first bullet is Oculus, right?
Yeah.
That's
everyone going fiasco, but
the internet has lost its damn mind.
Right. We'll do some more communication through like the Facebook and the Twitter.
Definitely.
So definitely, if you're not following us on Twitter or Facebook, check that out, and we'll have some communication going on once, especially if something's not going to happen with us.
Yeah.
But diving right into it. The internet, like you said, has lost its mind with
it's
Oculus
bad.
Rift. I mean, first of all, the Oculus Rift announced last week that the pre-ordering for the DevKit 2 is now open. $350 US to pre-order the second DevKit.
Number 2.
DevKit 2. We've had DevKit 1, and if you pay attention to some of the videos we have, if you pay attention to my live streaming, I've been doing a lot with the DevKit 1, but this is supposed to be even better. We have now a front-mounted camera with face tracking. We have two screens, 960 by 1080 for each eye, and so it's supposed to relieve the screen door effect that we have.
Yeah, I just think that a lot of users, the frustration that comes from these users is because of the tone that Facebook projects. They project a certain image.
Yeah.
Image is a better word.
Well, let's look at this from a purely business standpoint.
Sure.
VR headset is not a simple thing to do.
No.
Especially, they're wanting to have full movement of the head, complete immersion. So money is needed, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Sure.
Money is needed. So partnering with someone who has a lot of money is going to be a big deal. Now, from what I've read, Facebook and Zuckerberg are involved in a lot of technology based projects.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a good thing. Zuckerberg's looking for towards the future, and that's something a company, if you're going to merger with something like that, with a product like this, that's something you want to do.
Yeah.
This is, and Facebook is a social experience, and gaming is a social experience. So that kind of lines in together too.
I definitely see the Oculus Rift is extremely immersive, and nothing screams more quality social experience than something extremely immersive. I mean, the two kind of go hand in hand. I just think that a lot of the frustrations from users is that if there was going to be some kind of acquisition, I think most people would want it from another, like an actual true gaming company, someone like Valve, even EA or Activision or somebody who's done gaming. I think Facebook doesn't have a lot of experience in the hardware sector or in the gaming sector. I mean, they have Facebook games, but I don't.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing, and I think that's where a lot of the frustrations lie. In my opinion, personal opinion, I think it's too early to tell. We could all be blown away. Facebook could totally surprise us and come out with this great product that's really fleshed out, well done, and we were like, wow, we took back everything we said about it. Or they could do what everyone's thinking that they're going to do, which is turn it into a social experience and advertisements and not really use its full potential to play like hardcore games. But time will tell, and I do think that the negative the negative energy that's flowed from the gaming community, as I understand the frustration, but I think it doesn't help the situation at all. We need to stay, as a community, we have to stay positive, and we have to, look on the bright side of things. And if, Oculus isn't going to be what we want it to be, then we have to look into alternatives and keep our energy focused on getting what we want rather than tearing down
a company,
what we don't want. I think it's too premature to already throw our hands up in the air and say, oh, well,
done.
Oculus is gone, it's too late. We should really wait and see what happens. If it does turn out poorly, we can then say, look, we donated, they sold out to Facebook, we didn't like it, and the product came out poorly, and move on from there. We learn from our mistakes. The next time there's a Kickstarter, we'll think twice. We'll say, oh, well, if we're going to Kickstarter, we want to hear promises about X, Y, Z. This is all a learning. To me, it's all a learning experience.
Yeah.
Even a negative thing like this sell, that most people would think it's a negative, it's ultimately a positive thing. Because even if the Oculus Rift crashes and burns, we've learned from we've taken something away from it and learned that,
it's even brought VR to a mainstream.
Yeah, it's brought VR to a mainstream. We have competitors now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we have things like the Morpheus, which is what Sony's doing.
Yeah.
And then we have the, what's the other one?
The True Player Gear.
Yeah, True Player Gear just got announced like 2 days ago from another Kickstarter, which may or may not succeed. But things like that, even if Oculus fails, it's brought VR to a mainstream. It's got competition out there.
It's shown that people have an interest and people want this.
Yeah, and competition is really, really, really important. It's what makes everything great.
Mm-hmm. Now, another thing to consider, item number 2 to consider, is, Palmer has said that Facebook is not going to interrupt with the daily operations of the Oculus and the Oculus Rift project. So they still have control over their own process of what they want to do. It's a backing. It's going to have Facebook some sort of assistance. It's not going to be branded as a Facebook device, from what they've been saying.
Right. It's going to retain all its original branding.
So for what it seems, it just seems to be a solely monetary backing.
Yeah.
So there's no worry that it's going to be Facebook and likes popping up while you're playing a game.
And if Mark Zuckerberg is smart, he'll realize that people like Oculus for what they are and not change it, right? If you keep it the same, keep it what people are familiar with and like, people will buy it. And I'm pretty sure he's aware of that. And I'm pretty sure he knows that the guys that Oculus are doing the right thing and that are smart and talented. And I doubt he's going to go in there and change everything up, because he probably knows nothing about VR or is learning about it. And he already knows they're successful. He probably just wants to continue their success through funding and then profit from it.
Yeah.
He wants to, he knows it's going somewhere and make profits off.
Speaking of competitors, we talked about last video Sony releasing, or rumored that Sony was going to release a showing of their VR helmet project. And it's been released. It was released at the Game Developer Conference. It's codenamed Project Morpheus. And right now they're saying that in June the dev kits are going to be out for developers. So anyone
looking forward to that?
Look forward to that, yeah. Now they've said, people have asked, and we speculate, or I speculated last time, that maybe it would be PC compatible. Because if it was me, I'd want to sell something like this to everybody.
Yeah.
But what they've been saying is that they want to concentrate it as a PC, not a PC, sorry, a PS4 peripheral, or they've completely deflected the question.
Yeah.
So there's no definite, hey, we're going to make this for the PC
I think it's too early for them to say at this point. They're probably still under development. And there's a lot of bugs. VR is not a simple thing to do. There's probably a lot of things they need to focus on now, and they're probably not saying anything just because it's too early to say.
I feel like something like this, we shouldn't just hold our breath on.
Yeah,
this is let it roll out.
Yeah, let it come, let it flow, let them do what they're gonna do. If it is only a PS4 peripheral, that's still okay, right? Again, going back to the whole concept of nothing is negative. Even if it's just PS4 peripheral, if it's a good product, other manufacturers are going to see it, take away the good stuff from it, and make a competing or identical or similar project. And there's tons of hackers out there. I mean, they got Kinect working for Xbox. I'm sure they can get a VR headset for PS4.
Oh, yeah, so, yes.
It's sure it'll be
like,
USB,
yeah,
and it'll plug in, and then maybe they'll figure out a way to reverse engineer it.
I expect something like that Hackaday if it was only PS4.
Exactly.
That would definitely pop up.
Exactly. And so the other guys we mentioned earlier.
The True Player Gear.
True Player Gear, and that's another startup. If you read on Reddit, it was about 2 days ago. This is a startup of a couple of, I think, engineers. I don't really know a lot of information on it. I think their original post, or one of their original posts, was on Reddit asking for a Kickstarter. I think it's great. I think another thing, my only concern about that is you're going to have a lot of users burned right now from the Facebook merger. And then, who may be burned from doing another one. But then at the same time, you may have a lot of people burned by Facebook who want to throw money into a alternative, who say, oh, I'm going to take my money out of the Oculus. Well, they can't take their money out, but I'm going to put the rest of my money
direct my resources towards this.
Right.
In the end, though, too, this was Palmer's baby. He talked about in some of those early videos how, he started all this project because he was dissatisfied with the current state of VR.
Right.
So, I mean, you really got to think, is he just going to go, done,
here, take over my stuff?
Money.
I mean, I'm sure he's going to stay heavily involved. And, like I said, if it doesn't turn out well, as negative as that is, we still can look for the positive in that, they went through the growing pains. It didn't work out. There will be competing companies that will do the right thing, and we will still get a good finished product. I promise you, someone will do it, whether it's Valve or Sony or a startup or Facebook or whoever. I'm sure we will get a really well done VR headset.
So only good can happen from this point.
Agreed.
We're on a path for VR to be a mainstream. So speaking of the Game Developers Conference, at the Game Developers Conference, they had a talk by, and this is a big deal, NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel.
Yeah.
A joint talk.
All in the same room.
Yeah. Clutch the pearls, right? About OpenGL.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting. So the demos shown were, their best demos, right? So when I say this, I don't mean like everything is going to be improved, but some of the performance tests they had were up to 15 times faster than current OpenGL tests. Now, this doesn't mean that there's a magic button that everything will run 15 times as fast.
Simple.
Yeah, simple. But it's all magic. But what it does mean is that NVIDIA and AMD and Intel are working somewhat together to get OpenGL performance to be improved.
Yeah.
And this is big news for Linux gamers, or really any non-Windows gamer, so Linux, Mac, Steambox. This is a really big deal because this may be the beginning of the end or the start of gaming on other platforms besides Windows.
Or at least pushing DirectX out of the limelight. That's been the standard for a while. I mean,
definitely.
It was originally the DirectX box, and that's
right. That's why they called it the Xbox.
So we're seeing a shift over to something mainstream, closed source to open, something more open source. And we were talking about earlier with the VR. It opens up the competition.
Definitely. Competition is always...
It makes OpenGL even more viable than DirectX, thus creating more innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. And, on the same note of that, right? So we have two other big, really important things similarly related. One is we have Valve released their source code for converting DirectX libraries into work with OpenGL ones. I think that was part of Dota 2, getting Dota 2 to
work over on Linux.
Linux, yeah. So apparently from what I read is that it's not like prime time, it's not organized, it's very buggy and like structured to work with Dota mostly, but the code is there, and they're going, they've got a lot on their plate, but at some point they're going to get that more adapted. What that means, though, is that number one, it's possible to
do the conversion.
It's feasible, it's viable, it works fast, it's not laggy, blah, blah, blah. The second thing is that this shows that one of the biggest gaming companies, Valve, has got a piece of technology that can, they obviously have an interest because they have Steambox, but, because they're now such a big player in this game and they can get this dependent off of Microsoft, they have ace in their hat or ace in the hole or whatever that says, I don't need you, Microsoft. I can convert DirectX to OpenGL and do it my own way. That's a really big deal. So Natural Selection 2 released their source code to port, I believe it was for the same concept. They have OpenGL working on all the platforms.
Correct, yes.
Even on Windows.
Yes.
So they have a interpreter that gets, or something similar to an interpreter that gets DirectX libraries working on OpenGL. Which is another big push towards...
And that's an indie company,
Right. That's
not AAA or anything like that. That's not
owned
EA,
by a big game.
That's not Crytek or anything like that. That's
Valve, EA, Activision. No one owns them.
Less than 20 man team.
Yeah.
Deal with that.
Very impressive. And so what I think all these things popping up mean is telling us is that we're moving in a direction of independence from Microsoft, or at the very least, competition.
Yeah. Now, speaking more of Linux, we're on a Linux day today. GOG Games, or GOG.com, I guess it was Good Old Games back in the day, has now announced that they are looking to support Linux with their downloader and with their game libraries. Right now, they've announced that Linux game to come. They're testing Linux games with GOG. They haven't announced which games they're going to test, but they have now marked compatibility with Linux on their timetable as in progress.
Yeah, and I think this is another sign that Linux is a big deal. They realize there's money to be made off Linux gamers, and there is a push to get Linux games working, all game or have as many games on Linux working as possible, and that's where this OpenGL push is coming. That's where the GOG push is coming from. This is a good sign.
Yeah, I know with me, as someone who likes to build machines just for fun, being able to cut the corner of like $200-something for a Microsoft license just to play games, is a heaven sent.
And not only that, but you don't have to reload your operating system every 6 months.
Oh yeah, that's
Windows
nice.
has that dreaded creep of getting slower and slower and slower, and then you have to blow the whole thing away and reinstall. With Linux and with Mac operating systems, you don't have to. You just install it once and
one and done.
Yeah,
it'll update itself. It won't bog down. At least with my experience, I know you're using a Mac as well.
With Macs, I find I hardly ever have to reinstall my operating system. If you do, it's because you screwed up something or you corrupted something, not because you just installed too many programs.
Right now with GOG.com, they are testing with two popular Linux platforms. They're testing this with Ubuntu, and they're testing this with Mint Linux. So either of y'all that have, or if you have either of those, keep an eye out. Like I said, they have no timetable on when it will be ready, but it is in the progress. They're not announcing what games they're testing with it right now, with it. But it's something to look forward to. Linux gaming is, I think, far more viable than what it was before.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even 2 years ago, there wasn't near as many games as there are now.
You had Sauerbraten, which is like Cube on there, and FTL. You got FTL if you're like torturing yourself, which is a fun game. I like doing that.
I'm actually looking forward to the
advanced edition
on the 3rd.
Yeah, there's some cool things coming out.
So what we'd like from you guys is tweet us, send us a message, let us know what your thoughts are on Linux gaming as a whole, what how you feel about it. We'd like to hear your thoughts and feedback on where you think Linux gaming is headed, if you use a Linux system and the experience that you feel, what could be improved. We're always interested in hearing new thoughts about a new platform.
That's what we're all about. Just new things with gaming and computing world.
Now let's do our top 5 battle stations. So
All right.
number 5 is the posting is Battle Station in its new home. Is that right?
Yes, Battle Station in its new home. This is a nice little.
Yeah, he's got a Steam library pulled up. It looks like he's got all his Steam games shown.
Kind of bragging-ish. Can you see what number it is? What are you at Steam-wise, by the way?
Games?
Yeah, how many games?
Probably 160,
You
170.
gotta catch up. I'm at like 260 around.
Yeah, I'm behind.
You gotta love those Humble Bundle games.
I missed the first couple Humble Bundles, but I've bought every one since. So I like what I like about this one is that very clean. I like the little hanger for his headphones. He's got the little Fallout Boy guy in the middle of his desk. That's pretty cool.
Get your wireless controller for Xbox.
He's got he's got a controller, and he's also got his case. He's got the reddish little thing going. I also like the stand. The cable management's kind of lacking. I personally like the look of the
clean. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of like the Ergotech stands a little bit more than the. I don't know if that's wall mounted. I think it's probably desk mounted because I see poles.
Desk mounted, yeah, through the poles.
That looks a little odd to me. But still nonetheless clean. Really good job.
Yeah, it's real nice. So next on our list,
number 2
is I think it's everyone on our
his personal favorite.
This is my personal favorite. I mean, when you look at this and when you see this, you're gonna understand why. This is titled "My 8-Bittle Station." My 8-Bittle Station, Airship PC, and my other 8-bit mods by request. So it's a Lego airship like you would see on Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I like the blue LEDs.
Gives it that sense of floating with the sky.
Yeah, with the white little clouds and the fans.
The barrels, they're functional. I don't know if you read that. They control fan speed.
Oh, fan speed, right? You can use the barrels to control the fan speed. That's so really cool. Really cool. Yeah, definitely.
Your little Lego figurines. Let's see. He has on here too several other of his 8-bit creations.
Yeah, the characters.
He's got some 8-bit Final Fantasy characters. Black Mage. That White Mage is sick. I really love the lighting with that clear.
Definitely looks very cool.
I'm ready to go play some Legos.
Yeah, it kind of makes me want to build.
Actually, I think when I finish here, I'm gonna go play Legos, and
there you go.
So that'll be fun. But that's the 8-bit, my 8-Bittle Station.
So number 3, my girlfriend asked for a study. I've kind of taken over.
And from the looks of it, it's kind of worth it that he did.
Yeah. So what I like about this is I'm kind of a white, bluish, light color fan.
Or light on dark. Definitely light on dark.
Yeah, light on dark.
I love that contrast.
And he's got LEDs behind. He's got double monitor LEDs behind it. I like his office furniture. Very clean, simplistic. I'm a big minimalistic fan. It's wall mounted, or it's not wall mounted.
It is wall mounted.
Oh yeah, it is wall mounted. That's the wire thing. Wall mount looks really clean. I like his wallpaper looks good. I mean, everything about the station.
Really, really good cable management.
Cable management is great. He's got the power strip on the side with all the plugs in. I mean, this thing is just perfect. The only thing I could imagine done better would be 3 monitors. That's it. One extra monitor and done deal.
Yeah, 3 monitors would be really nice. It has, like I said, it is clean and minimalistic. Always nice.
Definitely.
All right.
So number 2
is all right. Here comes my command station or command center. :D. Lots of
smiley face.
Lots of pics. Yeah, it's a smiley face.
Now this is the most ridiculous thing I've probably ever seen. This is not just a battle station, but this is an entire game collection, retro game collection. He's got Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Famicom, pretty much everything under the sun in terms of console. Sega Saturn,
an arcade,
Dreamcast, an arcade. I mean, everything you could possibly imagine. He's got it. This is a little bit overkill. I don't know that I would actually play everything. Well, I mean, it's very cool, no doubt. But I don't know that I'd play all these games.
But you could.
You could just download an emulator and have everything on an emulator with a controller.
But it's not the same.
I know. The nostalgia value is not even close. But I don't know. To me, that's a lot of space for not a lot of...
The Super Famicom box. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I wonder how much money is in this room. This is a lot of stuff, definitely.
The gold PS2?
Yeah, the gold PS2. That's a little crazy.
Man, this is... I only looked at it a little bit. Man, this is ridiculous. I felt proud for having my Ultraman, having my 2 NES guns. I have the orange, standard orange one for the zapper for the NES, and I have the discontinued gray one. I always felt proud about that, but I've got nothing on this guy.
This guy has you beat. I think he has us all beat.
Yeah, I think he wins. He wins the internet.
So the number 1 is titled My Battlestation Rig, and this one,
it's blue.
It's blue. This is number 1, so we're not going to cheat, guys. But I find the 2 and 3 and even 4 was even better than this. But this is very clean. It's blue. The tubing is very well done. All straight angles. No, not really any curves. It's all right angles or straight.
Ooh, I don't know if I.
Well, one's curved on the right there. I mean, it's pretty cool.
I don't know if I agree with that tubing. Right angles. I don't know.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. Yeah, you're not supposed to have that sharp. It's like what, 40 degree or.
Yeah, 45 degrees what you want.
At max.
Unless you're using like L shapes.
Yeah,
because when you get the bend in the tubing, at least in my experience and my understanding with it, there's a lot of easy.
Yeah, you have restrictive flow issues. Now.
It's like being a musician, being a brass player. You want as little as bend as possible.
Yeah.
And so you're adding all these 90-degree bends.
It looks good.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree. It looks nice. I don't agree with that.
This isn't my number 1.
It's definitely, like I said, I definitely don't agree with the order with this. Now, to be fair, there is another post of just bought some new gear, thoughts, and it's a mouse. I think it's like one of those standard
it's
Microsoft mouse with the
Razer paint.
The Razer Naga. Is it Naga?
Naga, yeah.
The Razer Naga thing. I don't agree with that, and we're not even considering that.
Yeah, that was just a silly post.
But I don't.
And I think some of this disparity of the top 5 is that some are posted within like a few hours, and then some have been here 4 or 5 days. So consider this, guys. We're covering a whole week. And so some posts have been up for longer than other posts, so the ones that are higher. So it's not really a reflection of total top 5. It's top 5 of the week.
At this point.
At this point. Feel free to like this video, give a thumbs up, tell your friends, subscribe to us, all that good stuff. We
are still doing a game giveaway.
Yes, so we didn't have any posts, or we had very little posts on our last YouTube. And we also kind of delayed the release of the video. So this week, again, we're going to be giving a free copy of South Park: Stick of Truth.
I guess it'll be on the Steam platform. I think it's on.
Yeah, for Steam. We'd like you guys to comment on the YouTube channel and subscribe and like. Give us some feedback. Give us a joke. Tell us your opinion.
It's going to be the highest upvoted comment on the YouTube video.
Right, the highest upvoted comment on YouTube.
We could do
gets a free copy
of either, like overall of both videos, this video and last video.
Yeah, we'll take both into consideration. We'll add them together, and hopefully we can get more upvotes. We want you to share this, tell everyone about it. Even if there's something you think needs to be worked on, let us know. We want to hear your feedback, definitely. The Twitters, you can catch me at Twitter/ComputerLasco.
And I guess it was at.
Or at.
I don't Twitter.
Yeah, it's at ComputerLasco.
So I'm at The Destroyer FTW. The main Twitter for WSGF is at WSGF.
Yep.
You can check us out on Facebook. I think it's /Widescreen Gaming Forum.
Yep.
You can check out the website, of course.
Yeah,
WSGF.org.
WSGF.org. Check us out there. Visit the forums. Leave us your Battlestation pictures or anything. And then definitely check us out on YouTube. All these links that we're giving out are going to be in the description of this video. Just go down to the bottom, check it out. And
subscribe so you can get up-to-date videos, not only on WSGF News, but any of other videos like Skids, I guess it's like experience videos.
Experience video.
Any sort of product review.
Yes, Skip, the owner Skip, he does a lot of product reviews you guys might want to check out. There's just a lot of content we're trying to get to new folks, trying to get some exposure to the site. If you have a multi-monitor setup, you've probably visited WSGF at one time or another. So it's, we're trying to get awareness out there because I'm sure there's folks out there who are thinking about multi-monitor or have multi-monitor and don't realize that there is a place to go to find out how to get your games working and where the latest news is and how it all relates together to WSGF and everything like that.
So once again, this is WSGF News. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you next week, guys.